Willkommen zurück zu The Stanley Parable. Ich habe jetzt mal Folgendes versucht. Ich habe versucht, das Spiel erneut zu beginnen, ohne mein Safe Game zu laden.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ich bin gespannt, sehr gespannt, ob das Spiel sich gemerkt hat, dass ich hier schon wieder
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the
oder
door
ob ich
on
jetzt
his
tatsächlich das
left.
Spiel komplett neu gestartet habe, indem ich auf Beginn geklickt habe. Das finden wir jetzt heraus.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here. So he turned around and coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ich glaube, ich habe den Spielfluss zerstört.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Gottes Willen. Gottes Willen. Es gibt Menschen, die hören sowas. Freiwillig.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Okay. Schauen wir mal, was jetzt hier so alles passiert. Nachdem wir hier überall eigentlich schon mal waren, ich frage mich, ob ich jetzt ein neues Spiel begonnen habe. Ich frage mich, ob The Stanley Parable... Ich habe so viele Fragen. Wie The Stanley Parable intern funktioniert. Oder ob nur, wenn ich das gespeicherte Spiel lade, dass das alles nochmal funktioniert.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Hier lang.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would...
Schauen wir mal, ob wir dasselbe erleben wie eben. Wenn ja, lade ich das alte Spiel.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Yep. That I do. That I do. Ciao.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Ich sprinte jetzt durch. Ich sprinte jetzt härtestens durch. Weil ich will wissen, was passiert, wenn
And yet
ich...
it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Ah, wir sind alle tot in dem Moment, wo wir geboren werden. Tiefe, tiefe Botschaften. Tiefe, tiefsinnige Botschaften.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Ah, und jetzt habe ich die Option, dann
Can you
irgendwie Escape
see
zu
how
drücken,
much
oder
they
was?
need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Ja.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's
Okay. Gut, dann lade ich mal das alte Spiel, wo wir schon ein bisschen was hinter uns gebracht hatten. Ich glaube, an dieser Stelle gibt es tatsächlich nur den einen Weg, was mich ein bisschen irritieren würde. Bis jetzt hatte ich so das Gefühl, dass
All
hier
of his co-workers were gone.
immer was anderes
What could it
passiert.
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So, wo gehe ich diesmal hin?
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ja, unbedingt.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nope. He did not.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
Who is
She's
her?
been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to...
Oh.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Nö.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Ich finde, das ist eine hervorragende
Look at him
Zusammenfassung
there,
davon, wie
pushing
Büroarbeit
buttons,
funktioniert.
doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Ich drücke anderes, aber es passiert nichts, wenn ich anderes drücke.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Okay. I shall not push the button. No, never. Never. No. Ihr werdet mich nicht dazu bringen, ihr Hunde. Das ist mein Leben. Meins. Meins. Das Verrückte an der ganzen Sache ist ja, dass wir im Grunde genommen eine wirklich akkurate Darstellung davon haben, wie so das Seelenleben von so einem Büroangestellten aussieht. Es hat einfach keine Konsequenz. Es hat keine Konsequenz. Ich meine, es ist komplett austauschbar. Komplett. Ich meine, es kann sein, dass man besonders gut ist in dem, was man tut und es halt etwas dauert, bis man exakt und besser oder gleichwertig ausgetauscht ist. Aber das ändert nichts daran, dass man austauschbar ist. Ändert nichts daran, dass am Ende vom eigenen Leben nichts übrig bleibt, dass sich am Ende niemand daran erinnern wird, was man dort getan hat. Und dennoch verbringen wir den Großteil unserer Zeit in Jobs, in Arbeit. Wieso? Weil uns gesagt wird, dass es das ist, was wir tun müssen. Dass es das ist, was man tut. Das ist was logisch ist. An irgendwelchen sinnlos stinkend langweiligen Jobs herumgammeln. Es passiert nichts. Stimme. Red mit mir. Ich mag das Geräusch.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
2, um nichts in Frage zu
Suppose I
stellen.
can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button.
Please die. Hört das Spiel einfach grundsätzlich damit auf, dass ich sterbe? What the hell? So, was uns diesmal erwartet, das seht ihr mit mir in der nächsten Folge von The Stanley Parable. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen, wenn es gefallen hat. Like da lassen. Wer sich mit mir über die Sinnlosigkeit der gesellschaftlichen Norm des Arbeitnehmers auslassen möchte, möge mir einen Kommentar hinterlassen. Ansonsten Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Macht's gut.